What's up, my brothers, my sisters, and the pets of America and beyond? It's time for Precon review. Chew and brew, baby. So listen, man, I was talking with some bros the other day about Precons a little bit. You know, it's very set dependent, but what we usually see is a deck that needs so many changes, it's almost not worth buying and upgrading to begin with. Just take a few of the pieces, build around whatever face commander you've got in there. I don't know, man. I think pre-constructed decks are sometimes a decent buy. You can get some decently valued pieces, and it further addicts the new player to the hobby. You know, they have to take it apart, they put some pieces over here, say, oh, I'm going to build this guy later. You know, that's the ultimate goal, not always to make a cohesive deck out of the box. Now, all that being said, let's take Miracle Worker, new Precon out of Duskmourn. We're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down, we're going to talk about some of the new cards, some notable reprints, how the deck functions, and how to upgrade it, you know. But first, like and subscribe to the channel, brother. If your finger isn't a big old noodle out there, you can just press those buttons. You know, explore the Patreon if you want to. We have an active Discord, lots of people in there, you know, and like girls, we just want to have fun, all right? So this is the Miracle Worker deck, and it's helmed by the returning toddler of space and time, Aminatou the Veil Piercer. 1 white, blue, and a black, legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, Surveil 2. Each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. Its miracle cost is equal to its mana cost, reduced by 4. Look at this card, man. This is beautiful, brother. Giving all your enchantments a huge mana cheat if it's the first card you draw every turn is nuts. You also do the upkeep before the draw, right? That's how the turn goes. Untap, upkeep, draw. So Surveil can be, you know, pretty insane to get things into the graveyard and to get that nice enchantment on top of the library. This doesn't specify non-creature enchantments either. So cards like Archetype of Imagination get that cost reduction. Notably, the Gods of Theros are likely upgrades, as long as they fit thematically. Some of them are a little pricey though. Unfortunately, only Athreos the Shroud Veiled is included in the Precon. If you can manage to draw an enchantment on an opponent's turn as well, you can miracle that with a little brainstorm type of effect. Now your second new legend here is the Master of Keys. Love this thing. X white, blue, and a black for a legendary enchantment creature, Horror. It's a 3/3 with flying. When this guy enters, put X +1/+1 counters on it and mill twice X cards. Fantastic self-mill and Esper, dude. Each enchantment card in your graveyard has Escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Now this fella's interesting. He's got all those hands, dude. Look at those hands. He can knead bread dough better than any creature in Magic. Manifest bread, brother. The master here is leaning into reanimating enchantments. Same thing. This fellow wants lots of cards in the yard and can bring enchantment creatures right back out of the graveyard for more fun. It's a fairly beefy flyer too. Can get big and is great with mill. So now we have 2 interesting face commanders. How about some sweet new cards? Let's talk the new cards, brother. Look at this beautiful boy, the Ancient Seller Spawn. This guy's 1 black, enchantment creature, Horror. It's a 3/3. Each spell you cast that's a demon, horror, or nightmare costs 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than its mana value, target opponent loses life equal to the difference. Where it treads, plants wither, dude. This rather odd looking fella is amazing. Number 1, it's a horror. We need more of those. Number 2, it's a tremendous life drain piece in this deck where we're reducing costs left and right with Aminatou. I love this for a lot of decks actually, man. Pretty cool card. Then we got this guy, Fear of Sleep Paralysis. 5 and a blue, enchantment creature, nightmare. It's a 6/6 with flying. So this guy has Eerie. Whenever Fear of Sleep Paralysis or another enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. Stun counters can't be removed from permanents your opponents control. Oh my god, my sleep paralysis demon looks like Laura Loomer, but that's a different video, dude. This is pretty amazing in an enchantment deck. Deals rather nicely with Reanimator. It's a decent target, and he looks cool. You know, stun for fun, baby. And check this guy out, Metamorphosis Fanatic. This guy's 4 black, creature, human cleric. It's a 4/4 with lifelink. When he enters, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a lifelink counter on it. Has miracle for 1 and a black. This guy believes in miracles and he believes in you. He's the Mothman, the real Mothman. Maybe a little like Buffalo Bill in the basement there, I'm not really sure. He's also strangely buff in the art over there. You know, maybe he's metamorphosing with some roids, brother. It's a 2 mana reanimator spell. Pretty amazing in a deck with Surveil and top deck manipulation. I love this card. I think it's sweet. And we got half the damn Scooby-Doo gang out here, the Phenomenon Investigators, 2 blue and a black, creature, human detective, it's a 3/4. When it enters, choose Believe or Doubt, dude. Believe, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black horror enchantment creature token. Pretty nice. Doubt, at the beginning of your end step, you may return a non-land permanent you own to your hand. If you do, draw a card. This is interesting. He's drawing cards or he's making little dudes. I actually really like this, man. The art, it's just slap a headband on anybody and we immediately understand it's in the 80s. And of course, we have some of these room enchantments out here. This is an enchantment deck, so let's look at them. Cramped Vents, 3 and a black enchantment room. When you unlock this door, this room deals 6 damage to target creature an opponent controls. You gain life equal to the excess damage dealt this way. Okay, whatever. So then you have the Access Maze, 5 black. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand by paying life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Nice, but this is a lot of mana. I know our dude in the command zone there, Aminatou, reduces one side or the other, if you cast it off the top of the library, but I'm a little dubious. Then we have the Secret Arcade. I don't know what games are in there, but I want in, brother. 4 and a white. Non-land permanents you control and permanent spells you control are enchantments in addition to their other types. It also has the Dusty Parlor on there, 2 and a white, for an enchantment room. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that spell's mana value on up to 1 target creature. This is pretty gas, man, but again, it's kind of so much mana. But remember, these cards, so Secret Arcade is 4 and a white, Dusty Parlor 2 and a white, so if you're calculating mana value, you gotta add them together, dude. I don't know what that adds up to, but it's a lot, brother. Alright, this can make your dudes much bigger. Just kind of nice, I guess. Then we have Bottomless Pool and Locker Room. So this thing is blue mana for an enchantment room, the Bottomless Pool. When you unlock this door, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. So basically, if you cast it for that blue, it doesn't do anything. You gotta unlock the door. You'd have to pay 4 and a blue for Locker Room, which is an enchantment room. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. This is kind of a neat spin on Reconnaissance Mission. This card I actually dig. It's not bad. Alright, now this one's interesting. This is called Redress Fate. 6 white, sorcery. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Has Miracle for 3 and a white. Nice art on this thing, man. The Miracle cost is basically putting it into Replenish territory, which is a pricey reserve list card that only digs out enchantments. This also gets your artifacts, man. This card is pretty nice in this deck. Then we have the Soaring Lightbringer, last but not least here, 4 and a white, enchantment creature, Bird Glimmer, it's a 4/5 with flying. Other enchantment creatures you control have flying. Whenever you attack a player, you create a little 1/1 white glimmer enchantment creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. This is great, love it, man. Gives evasion to all your big enchantment creatures you're digging out of the yard. Now these decks also come with a bunch of schemes, but I assume those are for Arch Enemy. I don't play that, man. I don't really know. I don't know anything about it. Sounds like a Jake Paul crypto scheme to me, dude. I don't know what to do with those, but, they're there. Let's talk about some notable reprints. And first up is Arvinox the Mind Flail. So this guy is notable just because he's from that Stranger Things secret lair. This is the Universes Within version. It's a big old 9/9 enchantment creature. It's a pretty nice card, but this isn't really a theft deck. You're going to struggle to get those permanents from your opponents onto your side of the battlefield. So this guy's about $4. Athreos the Shroud Veiled. I like this fella. But this deck doesn't pack a ton of removal, so those coin counters may not come in super handy. I would remedy that. Add more removal if I was building this from the ground up. More exile enchantments, stuff like that, but that's just me, brother. Now this Undo Spirit Dancer, whenever an enchantment you control enters, you may create a token that's a copy of it. Do this only once each turn, so you may do it. So say you cast something that's a legendary enchantment, don't do it, and then you cast something that's a non-legendary enchantment, and then you do it. Alright, but you can only do it once this turn. This is a banger. It's really tight in this deck. Too bad it's not an enchantment itself. And then we have the old Ink Shield, dude. Ink Shield is back. This is like a $10 card. Nice reprint, very pricey, Oh, hey, wait a second, that guy's holding up 5 mana in this deck. Maybe, I don't attack him. Maybe I attack Johnny Thunder Twat over there instead. Extravagant Replication. This is a pretty sweet enchantment. the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of another target non-land permanent you control. Whoa, buddy, take it easy. Don't get so extravagant out there. This was up around 10 bucks. Pretty crazy card, pretty neat. And look at this bad beast. One with the multiverse. You got Urza out there exploding his brain all over the place. 6 blue for an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Fantastic. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or the top of your library without paying its mana cost. Come on, brother. Look at this beast, man. If you can cheat this out for 4 mana, you're in the money. This is great for a top deck manipulation deck. And this is actually, pretty feasible in this deck. Most decks, I would say, don't even run this. This guy's out there doing the safety dance, man. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. This had also gotten up to about $5. This is a beefy tax effect, dude. This is the ultimate pillow with which to build an impenetrable pillow fort. And lastly, here we have the Hall of Heliod's Generosity. This is about a $7 card. Really nice in an enchantment deck, utilizes Surveil Self-Mill. This is fantastic because it puts the thing back on top of your library, where you can subsequently cheat it out with your commander if it's the first card you draw during one of those turns, brother. So let's talk about some possible additions here. Right off the rip, we have a commander that wants to surveil, dump stuff in the graveyard, right? We have 2 staple enchantment cards that are great reanimators, Necromancy and Animate Dead. Get those idiots out of the damn graveyard. And why the heck isn't Whip of Erebos in here? So this is 2 black, legendary enchantment artifact. Creatures you control have lifelink, has 2 black, tap it, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate only as a sorcery. This is great in a reanimator deck. It's pretty pricey though, it's up to about $10. But it was reprinted elsewhere in this commander product, not in this deck. So hopefully that price is going to take a hit. So imagine miracling this out for 1 mana, the Starfield of Nyx. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As long as you control 5 or more enchantments, each other non-aura enchantment you control as a creature, in addition to its other types, has base power and base toughness equal to its mana value. This is gas in this deck where you're dumping stuff in the yard, man. Look at those 2 bros hugging it out in the Starfield. It's very romantic. Now you like drawing cards, so you might want the new Entity Tracker. So this is 2 and a blue, creature Human Scout. It's a 2/3 with flash. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, draw a card. This card's pretty rad, dude, whatever. How about some scry? Get some scry out there. Thassa, God of the Sea. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. 1 in the blue, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. This is a big old 5/5. You got to get your devotion up. It's a little scary out there, all right? And you want a big old god, big beefy babe of the sea out there protecting you, brother. Now, Surveil can be very powerful in this deck, and there's a damn $1 card that is the absolute champ of Surveil, the Doom Whisperer. Pay 2 life, Surveil 2. Jeebus, dude. This guy has all those hands, and the happy ending massage is probably outside your price range, brother. You come out the rear entrance, a damn eunuch. Anyways, I don't know how this would pan out, but those room cards have insanely high mana values. Their mana value is determined by the sum of the 2 halves. So Marvo out there, whenever this guy attacks, clash with defending player. Whenever you win a clash, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value 8 or less without paying its mana cost. I think this guy's pretty powerful. I like him. I don't know. Maybe I'll give him a try in the deck. Now this guy, Victor from the new set. 1 white and a black, human warlock. It's a 3/3. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, Surveil 2. If this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, each opponent discards a card. And if it's the 3rd time, put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This guy's neat, man, but he's kind of lost in time, brother. He's tripping hard on some rave juice. He's out there candy flipping in a tent somewhere. Looks like a dang hippie. Now go ahead and scryful miracle cards. There's a bunch of miracle cards out there. I don't know if they're all very good or not. You have Temporal Mastery, extra turn spells, but it really has no other synergy other than being an extra turn. It's a sorcery, so it doesn't matter for our enchantment payoffs. Overall, it's a pretty neat deck. Mana base isn't terrible, could use a few more duels. The entirety of my upgrade here is about $35. I only replaced about 10 cards. I really dig this commander. Probably needs a dedicated build around. If I was going to build it, I'd build from the ground up, just pick up the singles. Reprint value is pretty decent here though. There's some decent $5 to $10 cards in there. It's explosive with cards like one with the multiverse. Lots of ways to cheat in big stuff. But you know, what do you guys think? Is it worth a damn out there? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, remember, I love you, dude. I literally love you. You're making things happen in the world and all of them aren't diarrhea. You know, keep doing what you're doing. Nikki G, signing off.